Welcome to Lair the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, another in my series of heavy thoughts. And for this one, I'm asking the question, what makes a band great? Of course, a lot of it is subjective, right? How often do you hear you have a band that you just totally do not care for and it's somebody else's favorite band? So this is really what for me makes a band great. And I think there's a lot of variables that go into it. And I'm going to make a separate video on this about how your age, when you were discovering music, your environment, did you have older brothers and sisters? Did you live in a city where you had access to things, or maybe you were like me out, in the woods where you didn't have access to a lot of stuff. But for me, what makes a band great is a couple of things. And first off, it has to be the songs. There has to be good songs. I've done various videos on guitar players that I like and guitar riffs and things like that. And I've said that I have to like the music in order to really buy in and really like the guitar player. It doesn't matter to me how good the guitar player is if the songs aren't very good or if the songs are bad. I mean, the 80s was the era of the shred guitar player, the technical guitar playing, and there were millions of those guys. Shrapnel Records released of millions of these guys shredding, tearing up the fingerboards, jaw-dropping technique and awe-inspiring and everything. But a lot of them, the songs weren't any good. And if the songs aren't any good, maybe can listen to it a little bit and appreciate the guitar playing and what went into them being able to play at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But if the songs aren't good, I'm not going to come back to it. I'm not going to revisit it. It's not going to stick with me. So number one, the band has to have great songs. And if you think of all the really big bands, they have songs to back it up. I'm looking around my room. If you remember my tour of my room, I've got records on the ceiling here. Kiss, Rush, UFO, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Ozzy, AC/DC, Alice Cooper. They've got songs there. They have songs. Practically every one of those bands that I mentioned has one or more or multiple songs that get played like crazy on classic rock radio. They have a bunch of legendary songs. Maiden, Priest. They have songs that have stood the test of time, that generations of people love, that they still play live when they do shows. So first and foremost, there has to be songs. After that, then, there has to be the performers to pull off the songs. The unique, and I would put in like the uniqueness of the performers and the abilities of the performers. Okay, so looking around my room again here, I'm looking at my poster of Ritchie Blackmore. So Deep Purple, you've got great songs in Deep Purple, legendary songs. Smoke on the Water, Woman from Tokyo, Highway Star, Perfect Strangers, on and on. I could go on and on, right? And you've got amazing and unique players. Ritchie Blackmore, one of my favorite guitar player of all time. Totally unique style of playing. Ian Gillan, amazing, unique vocalist with the way he used his falsetto and those high shrieks. Even the guys that don't get talked about as much. Okay, John Lord, he gets talked about a lot. One of the greatest hard rock keyboardists of all time. My friend Steve and I over at his channel, All the World's a Stage, did a Mount Rushmore of rock, and there were a lot of Deep Purple guys on that Mount Rushmore, and John Lord was one of them that I picked there. And even the guys that, Roger Glover and Ian Pace, they're amazing, unique players too. So songs, great, unique players, guys that stand out. Ian Gillan stands out. Ozzy stands out. Ronnie James Dio has a voice that stands out. Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson. Steve Harris is a bass player that stands out. Nickel McBrain is an amazing drummer. Adrian Smith and Dave Murray. Judas Priest, Rob Halford has a totally unique voice. The guitar playing in Judas Priest is great and stands out with their dual leads and everything. So all these bands, they have great songs. UFO, Michael Schenker, Phil Moog, they have great songs with great, unique performers that bring these songs to life. So for me, those are the things that make a great band. Now, when you also throw in the other elements of great production, all these bands have albums that sound amazing, have worked with amazing producers. Uh, Great album covers, legendary album covers. Led Zeppelin, think about their legendary album covers. Deep Purple in rock, Iron Maiden, with Eddie, Judas Priest with British Steel. When you stack all these things up, great songs, great unique performers, great packaging, great production. Also throw in there a great image. I mean, we don't want to say that that's the be-all, end-all, but that does play a part in it. I mean, Michael Schenker in this, when he was in UFO with that flying V, that looks great. Eddie with Iron Maiden is an image thing. Kiss, I mean, Kiss, I'm not as big of a Kiss fan as a lot of other people my age, but I do love that 70s era of Kiss because they had songs. By the time like the first live album rolled around, they started to get the production behind them. And they've got a super unique, cool image and unique performers. Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, every Ace, Peter, and the look and the image and the packaging. I mean, if Kiss had dreadful songs, they might have gotten, so far with the image. But no, it wouldn't have carried them as far as it did because they had all those elements. Alice Cooper's another guy. Amazing stage show, but the Alice Cooper band, all those guys, all those players were great. Dennis Dunaway, and they were all great. Alice had a unique voice. He had that image and the stage thing and the album covers, but he had the songs to back it up too, and all these artists too, they also had a great feel for evolving and changing, and some of them did it better than others, but they all were able to evolve their sound so it kept the fans engaged. Even Kiss, they, by the time they got to the late 70s, for better or for worse, they started changing their sound. So all right, so there you go. That's some of the top points for me, the things that make a band great for me. Usually when I don't like a band, there's some element of one of those that's missing, and it's usually one of the top three. Like they might have great songs, but maybe the singer isn't very good or the playing isn't very good. I can get past that usually if the songs have to really be good. But sometimes I'll see a band that has an amazing singer, amazing guitar player, but they've got mediocre songs. I've heard bands that have good music, decent songs, decent performers, but the production is just dreadful and to the point of distraction. So it's sort of a weighted scale for me. Great songs, great performance with mediocre production, I can get past that. But mediocre songs, mediocre performances with good production still probably won't do it for me. These things all sort of, balance each other out and weigh themselves against each other. So when I don't like something, it's usually a combination. There's something going on there. The bad singing or bad songs or not enough good songs. I think there's certain bands that I like, but they just don't quite have enough great albums. They've got a couple really good albums, and then they've got a lot of mediocre albums, so they don't stick with me the way the big bands that have stuck with me since my teenage years, AC/DC, Maiden, Priest, Dio, Sabbath, all that stuff has stuck with me because it has all those elements that I just described of what goes, in my opinion, go into a great band. All right, so let me know down in the comments down below, what are the things that you look for, and what makes a band great for you? What makes them your favorite band? What are the elements that you look for that you need in order for you to really be fully invested and to really love a band? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm looking forward. I enjoy these conversations. I apologize that I can't always respond, but I do read everybody's comments. I can assure you that. So I enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Until we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.